Hi, I'm Doug from Dynamic Computing, and welcome to episode 149 of 10-Minute Amiga Retrocast. This one's going to be a quick one today, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. What I want to do is show you a cool, relatively new product from our friends from Simulant. Those are the guys over in the UK. They've got a cool shop, but they're also the guys that do the fantastic Amiga Addict magazine, which you see right there, and the fantastic Pixel Addict magazine. Now you can go to their website. I'll have the link in the description. I'll have the link right down here, and order the magazine, get it in either PDF or the actual paper format. And you can order a bunch of cool retro products, up to and including an Amiga keyboard. Yes, a keyboard that is actually authorized by Amiga. Pretty cool. Let's take a little closer look at the box here. Now apparently there's a nice story behind this keyboard. They'd originally launched it as maybe some type of Kickstarter or GoFundMe a couple of years back, and they had a very ambitious goal of coming out with a mechanical keyboard that was similar and could work similar to several different kinds of retro keyboards, not just the Amiga. Well, they bit off a little more than they could chew from what I understood, and it was going to cost too much to come up with all of these different kinds of retro keyboards. So the guy sat down and thought, okay, what was the absolute best computer system in the entire known universe? And let's create a keyboard based on that. So obviously, without even a second thought, they chose the Amiga keyboard. Now, it comes shipped in a nice box here. Let's take a look at the back. Here it talks about all of the features of it. It's got little leggies we're going to take a look at. The keycaps are the Cherry MX, so they're removable. It's got the Amiga logo. This input device puts your typing experience a generation ahead. With genuine German-made Cherry MX key switches and quality PBT key caps, a more comfortable typing experience is provided. The base feet allow 3 different typing angles, while the USB cable has 3 exit routes for cable management. Pretty cool. Let's pop her open and take a look and see what's inside. I have not even opened this up yet. Now, when this shipped over from jolly old England, the whole thing was wrapped in some bubble wrap, which I guess is, fine. That's the way it had to be. And then there was a plastic wrapping over it. Would have been nicer if it was double boxed. This was the main box that it came in, but c'est la vie. It did come a little bit dinged up. You can see the box is a little dinged up here and a little dinged up here because there was no protection above and beyond this cardboard box and a little bubble wrap on the outside. Oh, look at that. We've got a tear in the box, which makes me infinitely sad, but as long as the keyboard's not damaged, I will get over it. Let's flip her over. There she comes. Oh, look at this. It says, Hannah Naylor, Advertising and PR, Addict Magazines. It's a business card that's like a floppy disk. Why didn't I think of that? That's really cool. I'm going to try putting this in my floppy drive and see what happens. What could go wrong? Here we have a little instruction manual, which is nice. It also shows in Windows, holding the Amiga key, which is the equivalent of the function key in Windows, what it can do with the various function keys. F1 media player, volume up, volume down, mute, stop, skip playback, play pause, skip forward, email, homepage, calculator, and search. Does anybody and has anybody ever used the Windows shortcuts to do that? Not me. Ooh, bubble wrap. Yippee. Okay, let's get the actual keyboard out of here very carefully. Our little box goes away. I'd have to say she's fairly attractive. These are some pretty dark grays here. Oh, look, a little Windows boing ball next to the right AMIGA key. But you've got your left AMIGA key, your right AMIGA key. Yeah, the layout of the cursor keys are okay, but of course, this is totally different than an AMIGA keyboard. It's more of a PC type keyboard. The AMIGA logo looks pretty good up there. I like that. Let's get a nice close-up view of that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And it says that it has adjustable legs. Yeah, you can see that. You've got a minor adjustment there. You've got a big adjustment right there. So there's literally 3 levels that you can store your keyboard at for your favorite typing angle, which is actually kind of cool. Importantly, let's check the color compared to a real AMIGA keyboard. Okay, so this is my original AMIGA 4000 keyboard. This is the new keyboard. Now, I do wish there was an option that you could order this keyboard with built-in finger grime from the 1990s, early 1990s. That would make it very authentic to actually have maybe some keyboard crumbs in here and some disgusting finger grime to really make it authentic. Okay, not really. I don't think the keyboard is that far off from its original colors. This has always been fairly well protected. It's probably a shade or two darker than it used to be. You can see that the color of the actual keyboard case itself is actually fairly similar. It's not horribly far off. The color of the keys themselves are very different from my United States keyboard here. These are more of a tan gray, and these are more of a dark gray. And then the keys themselves are a bright white instead of more of a, ivory color of the original keyboards. Now, as far as the feel, that feels actually not horribly far off. This feels like a good quality keyboard. This is not one of your little $10 off-the-shelf USB keyboards at all. This is a real solid feeling keyboard, and all the keycaps should be easily removable and replaceable should you want to change them out with a different color or a different style, which is kind of nice. Certainly easier to take off than the AMIGA 4000's keyboard. So yeah, it does a reasonable job. This probably matches up more in our memories than it does in reality to the original keyboards, but that's okay. Let's get her hooked up to a computer. So it's a standard USB connection. So it's a standard USB keyboard, nothing exciting there. I'm going to plug it into my Windows 10 PC. Now here's something actually pretty cool. It comes with a couple of replacement keys. It comes with 2 of these, and these are help keys. You notice I mentioned earlier that the keys up top here are not exactly the same as they were on a AMIGA, which is understandable. But you can replace some of the keys with a help key. So something unused or underused, like a print screen or scroll lock, a key that you would not normally use, like up here, you can put these cool help keys up there instead and make it a little bit more AMIGA-like. Pretty cool. So we've got the keyboard hooked up to the old PC now, and let's see how well she types. Well, it types just like a keyboard. And we're using a nice Commodore 64 typeface there. Isn't that exciting? Looks good. So the keys work fine. The mapped keys work exactly like they're advertised to. So right AMIGA F1 opens up media player. Right AMIGA F2 controls the volume. We've got the volume up and volume down. Those all work as advertised. Nothing particularly exciting about that. Works just like a normal media keyboard, which is fantastic. Now here, notice the lights here. So we've got green lights for our caps lock, our num lock, even our scroll lock, and our function lock, wherever that is, somewhere around here. All of them are kind of the Amiga green color, which is actually really cool. But enough of this boring, dry PC stuff. Will this keyboard work on a real Amiga? Well, the answer is it will, eventually. They're coming out with an HID to USB adapter that's going to integrate right with the keyboard that allows you to use it on an actual Amiga. They don't have it shipping yet. I'm hoping it works well, but we can probably get it to work on my lovely Amiga 4000 because my lovely Amiga 4000 has a Rapid Road USB adapter. So we're going to plug it in the USB port and see if she works like a good old-fashioned Amiga keyboard. Follow me. On my lovely Amiga 4000, which is right there, I do have Indivision's Rapid Road USB adapter right in there on my Xsurf 100 networking card. So I can use almost any USB device, you know, common ones like flash drives. You'll find a video that I did on USB on the Amiga right there. I think you'll find it enlightening. I also use a USB. It's a 9-pin Amiga to USB HID adapter back in here. And there is my lovely 9-pin to USB adapter. And I just have a standard wireless transceiver here. It's a Logitech one, and I'm able to use a wireless mouse just beautifully on my Amiga 4000. Now we're going to put a keyboard on here and see how she works. We'll launch a little Final Writer 97, an excellent quality word processor, and let's see how she works. Here is a fine test of this USB keyboard. Huh, it works. It works okay. Now, here's something interesting. I have this plugged into a little USB hub, which is right there. I do that because I do not like plugging things directly into the Rapid Road, and never on an Amiga hot swap. I don't care what they say about this device being hot swappable. When you start hot swapping a Rapid Road on an Amiga, you are risking shorting the thing out, and it's just not worth it. So I always power it down before I switch anything. And I always use a little powered USB hub. One thing I've noticed is the numlock key does not light up in this particular situation. Maybe it would if I was plugged directly into the Rapid Road. I guess I could try that at some point in time. But right now, the caps lock keys and numlock keys do not seem to light up. Now let's see if they function. So, hi, 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 hi. Caps lock off, hi, hi. Huh, not responding to the caps lock key. Huh, no, it looks like it did get into caps lock mode here somehow, but it's not coming out of caps lock mode, nor is it responding to the shift keys. So, does it work on an Amiga directly plugged into a Rapid Road? Sort of, kind of, but not the way I really wanted to. I'll get in touch with the guys and see if there's anything we can do about that. Now, just to test the theory, I went ahead and I plugged the new Amiga keyboard directly into the Rapid Road USB on my Amiga 4000. And as long as you start out typing without the caps lock on, works fine in lowercase. Hold down the shift key, uppercase, take it off, lowercase, put it on, uppercase, no problem. The shift key works fine. The second you hit caps lock, it locks it into caps lock mode, and there's no way besides a reboot that I can see that you can get out of it. So don't plan on using this on your USB enabled Amiga, because not quite there. I don't know why, but it's not quite there. Maybe the Amiga keyboard needs to be an actual keyboard that understands PS2, and that's why it doesn't work quite right. I'll ask the guys and see. But while I'm here, let's see if Amiga Control will reboot it. Nope. Nope, I am not getting three-fingered salute to reboot the Amiga. Okay, we've learned something today, haven't we? So what's my opinion of this new keyboard that's available that's got the Amiga logo on it? As of this moment, rock solid, absolutely beautiful. The weight is great. The keycaps feel wonderful. The construction is absolutely brilliant. You could smack somebody over the head with it, and it would be just fine. Okay, that part's good. Does it work well on a PC? Absolutely. And I would love, love, love to put this right on one of my Macs that has a USB. So I have a Macintosh USB keyboard with an Amiga logo on it, and then get one of the A500 mice from our friends at Retro Limited and use that as the mouse for the Macs. You got like this whole Amiga setup. That would be just so awesome. I think I'm going to do that. Using it on an actual Amiga that has USB, unless I'm insane, just doesn't work properly. It works a little. You can type on it for sure. Poseidon, which is the software that controls the USB stack on the Amiga, absolutely recognizes this as a USB keyboard. I've used USB keyboards on my Amiga 4000 before. They work fine. They even remap some of the keys for the reboot and everything. This one doesn't quite work. Maybe it's not getting enough power. Maybe it's got some compatibility issue that can be updated. Hard to say. But when the caps lock key doesn't work, none of the lights work, rebooting the Amiga from the keyboard doesn't work, I can't recommend it at this point in time for use with a USB-enabled Amiga. I've also read that it does not work on a Vampire V4 standalone. Hopefully the Vampire team can correct that and allow it to work there, because it would be just flippin' awesome to have an actual Amiga keyboard on there. What's the price on this little guy? Well, the base unit is 140 pounds. All right. Now, that sounds steep for a keyboard because we're so used to buying $10 and $20 keyboards, or a wireless keyboard for like $50, $60, $70. So 140 sounds a little steep, but back in the day, that's what we'd pay for a good keyboard. Back in the mid-90s, when I was selling computers, we would literally bundle $100 keyboards, our cost, with the computers, and it was totally normal. It wasn't until the 2000s that the little cheap and cheerful keyboards came out, and they were garbage. This is why you can still use an Amiga keyboard today, and none of the keycaps are worn off, and it's in good shape and it still works. It's because they were good keyboards back then. Where you buy a new computer now, and 18 months later, half the keycaps are worn off, you can't even see what you're typing, and things start breaking. It's because they're garbage. This is a good quality keyboard. Now, if you want it with a particular set of keycaps, like I got mine with the United States keycaps, where they have the pound sign in the right place, and they have the @ sign and the quotations, and things are in the right place for us Americans, it was an extra $24. You want a ZERTY keyboard, extra $24. Now, I think about that and I think, well, you're really just putting in 2 or 3 different keycaps in different places. It's a bit steep for just swapping out a few keycaps. You know, $10, that's a fair deal, okay? $24, we're already spending $140 on this thing. But, c'est la vie. Shipping was expensive because Brexit, let's be honest, because Brexit. So the whole thing getting over to my doorstep was over $200. Would I spend $200 on a keyboard for my PC? Never, never. I would cut it at, you know, $50, $60 for a good quality one now. I would never spend $200 one. Would I buy one from a friend like Simulant because it's an Amiga product and I want to represent it and review it and show it to you guys? Absolutely, I would. So get it for your PC, get it for your Mac. If you want it to replace a keyboard on your Amiga, your big box Amiga, wait until they get that HID adapter out, hopefully in a few months, and it will probably work fine. I'll get in touch with the team, find out if they have an idea why it doesn't work on my Amiga 4000 properly, If we come up with a solution, you know I'll get back to you. Huge thanks to my patrons. You guys are absolutely wonderful. You can see their names scrolling across this beautiful Amiga generated picture right here from Amiga Art Contest 2022, which reminds me, Amiga Art Contest 2023 will be announced in the next couple of months, and we've got some cool new stuff that we're going to be doing. Just you wait and see. If you want to become a patron of the channel, pop on over to our Patreon page that you'll find linked in the description. Thanks. Please comment below. Tell me about your keyboard solution for your Amiga if you're not using a traditional one. I'd love to hear about it. Tell me, please like and subscribe and tell your friends about the channel. I want to continue to grow the channel. Follow me on all of the socials, on Twitter, Mastodon, Instagram, Facebook, etc. But until next time, this is Doug from 10-Minute Amiga Retrocast, signing out to go type in all capital letters.